Alright, this right here is the Canon EOS 2000D, and I already made a video 2 years ago stating that this camera sucked. But now 2 years later, with new experience and being more mature as well, I want to know if this camera is still any good or not. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the image quality. Can you actually produce some good photos with this camera? Secondly, we're going to talk about whether or not you should get it, or actually that's the third thing. Secondly, we're going to talk about if you can actually create some good videos with this camera as well. And also a little bit about the experience, if that is a pleasant experience, especially for beginners, right? So let's begin right away. Alright, so the first question, can you actually get some good photos with this camera? Right, so here are some example shots. Keep in mind that I am a professional photographer, so I definitely know how to create those pictures. But if you are a beginner, you simply don't know that. So what you're seeing right here is years of experience and knowledge all combined in this photo, right? So the following shots, they look actually pretty good from this little camera. They will cost you here in the Netherlands roughly around 350 euros, somewhere in that ballpark. In the US it will cost you around $300, give or take. It depends on where you live and also what kind of deals you have, right? Keep in mind that these photos are not straight out of the camera. So if you are a beginner and you get the SD card out of the camera and you put it in your computer, you will not get the same results. Those photos what you're seeing right now, those are edited in Lightroom, in Luminar. So keep that in mind if you want to get some of those photos. If you want to have those type of look, you have to be able to put in a lot of effort, to be able to put in a lot of work in it, and to spend a lot of time in it as well. For an example right here, this is something that you can expect straight out of the camera. It doesn't look that good, but after editing, it looks really nice. So again, the question here, can you take some good photos with this camera? The answer is definitely a yes. But from a beginner standpoint, it is actually pretty hard to get those type of images. But if you are somebody that is willing to learn and to put in the effort, put in the time in order to get these type of shots, then you're good. I also want to mention that getting these type of shots is actually pretty hard with this camera because this camera doesn't have a very reliable autofocus. The autofocus of this camera, at least the camera itself, doesn't have autofocus, but the lens it has, and it is actually pretty slow and also not very reliable. As you see here in the following shots, even though this is quite a difficult shot to get, like very sharp, but still, as you see here, you definitely see that the photo is not truly sharp where it needs to be. Even though I manual focus it, put in a lot of time and effort, I still get a blurry shot. And one of the reasons is because of the viewfinder itself is quite small and not that sharp. Secondly, the LCD screen, if you look at that, that is actually not really sharp as well, so it doesn't really help you. And also this camera doesn't have any animal or eye autofocus type of features, so it's very basic, doesn't have any like real modern autofocus options at all. So keep that in mind if you get this camera. There is a lot of times that you won't be able to get a sharp photo. For me, that is not very enjoyable, and I can imagine that if you are a beginner and you are working with this camera, you get home and then you see the results, images are quite blurry, not very sharp where it needs to be, then you might be disappointed and even maybe a little bit demotivated to get the camera again and put in the work again. Alright, so this camera is targeted to beginners, but as I mentioned, it's really hard for a beginner to get nice photos with this camera. But still, if you don't have a big budget and this is your first camera or the only camera that you can buy, then of course you have to put in the effort, the time and everything, all the energy you have to put in it, then you will be a master of this camera and you definitely can create some good photos. But if you are a beginner and you got more money to spend, then definitely go with something more modern that has reliable autofocus and also more modern features, such as eye autofocus, for instance. Alright, so let's talk about a little bit about the video side of things, because now these days videos are really important, right? As you see on Instagram, on TikTok and all other social platforms, video is definitely there to stay. So can you create some good video with this camera? The answer is sometimes you can. It's not really a video focus type of camera, but if you are willing to put in the effort here again, then you can definitely create some nice looking images or nice looking videos as you see right now. What's up guys? So this right here is on the Canon EOS 2000D, drinking my coffee. How does it look? How does it sound? Does it sound good? Let me know in the comment section down below. Cheers. So the video part is not that bad, but also not that great. I have to say, if you are going to compare this to a normal smartphone, then you can get the same result with the smartphone as well. So should you buy this camera, yes or no? That is the main question here in the end of 2022, beginning of 2023 maybe. And the answer is a yes and no. Get this camera if you don't have the budget. If you have a very small budget, then get this camera. You can learn a ton about photography, but you will need to spend a lot of time and effort to get good results, right? So keep in mind that this camera has a lot of limitations. It's not very modern as well. So that is the big issue here. It is not a modern camera, and it can actually demotivate you if you see the results, because a lot of times the photos might not be sharp and might not be as you actually want it that you have in your mind. And then the other end of this answer is, of course, a no. Don't get this camera. If you have more money to spend, get yourself a more reliable camera with good autofocus and also more modern features as well, such as maybe as a Canon EOS M50 and then the Mark II version, right? It will cost you like double, like around 500 euros, maybe 650, something like that. But you will get a more reliable autofocus, you get better out-of-the-box images, and just in general a more pleasant experience with taking photos and also videos, right? So there you have it guys, thank you again for watching. Let me know if you got any question, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck.